when I got fired for dropping the banana cream pie.
You see yourself, Grandpa?
Oh yeah. Hi there, Uncle Ben. Hi Ben.
All right, I believe it's recording now, so let's minimize it.
Is it recording now?
So you don't have to
Because
see
put his
it.
shoes on.
Yeah.
All right. So much easier it feels to
Yeah.
put these things on.
My claw's gone.
Don't have to worry about them scraping it.
I'm gonna put the stuff in the car.
Okay.
Are you ready? And I think you might want to change your shorts because it's pretty hot up there.
You put it on the front. At first glance, that picture looks like a winter scene of some kind.
It is. It's a mountain.
Yeah,
Mountains.
lake.
Yeah. There's the lake right there,
Mhm.
and then the snow all the way around it.
Not Big Bear, is it?
No.
Oh, that's
warm.
fine.
We get to have everybody enjoy your your life story, Grandpa.
You have a piece.
Okay.
Your charger will be filling it out or the charge?
That's fine.
Sure. Let me know when.
Yeah. So growing up, Grandpa, how was it?
Growing up,
What do you think was your highlight? Because
oh,
I know you grew up. Where were you born?
I was born in Mexico, La Piedad, Michoacan, Mexico. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
No, but her family, somebody is from Michoacan, right?
Michoacan,
Michoacan.
Video.
Guerrero.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just know I was born there, but I don't know what it looked like. But my mother brought me to the United States when I was 3 years old
Oh
on
wow.
the train. See, my dad died when I was a baby. I must have been a few months uh, young when he passed away.
Right.
I think he was 30 years old when he passed away. So my mother was very young at that time, of course. So my grandmother was already living in New Mexico, in El Paso, Texas, rather. And my mother wanted to be with her mother, my grandma. So she said she was going to come and stay with my grandma. And I was just a little baby, 3 years old. And my uncles and other relatives in Mexico City, they lived in Mexico City. And they told my mom, no, if you want to go see your mom, you go ahead. But leave Ben here with us. You know, don't take him with you. Because if you take him with you, what's going to happen? You're going to meet a man over there and probably marry him. and we'll never see you or Ben again.
Huh.
This way, if you leave him here with us, we'll take care of him. He'll still grow up and everything. And that way you want to come back home. So my mom said, no, I don't want to leave him here. I want to take him with me. So we came on the train, and I remember it like a dream. You know, when you're 3 years old, your mind is not like a dream.
Right.
I remember looking out the train window as it was going by, and you could tell it had rained the night before. There was I remember seeing a lot of puddles, mud puddles on the road on the way, alongside the tracks as he went by. Click, 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 click. And that's all I remember from that trip. And then landed. We stopped in El Paso, and we had my passport. We had
Yeah.
our passport. And it shows my mom. On the passport, it shows my mom. It says female, 32 years old. Male child, 3 years old. And she's holding me in her arms like this. And I'm just a little guy, about 3 years, 3 years old.
Yeah.
Had real curly hair in the photograph. I'd give anything to find that thing. Showed me and my mother. She
Yeah.
was so young, 32, imagine. So we stopped in El Paso, and I think, as far as I know, we lived with my grandma for a while, and then we moved from there. From El Paso, we went to Gallup. We moved to Gallup. My grandmother married another man. His name was Reyes Hernandez. So we lived with them for a while, and then of course my mother, being young, 32 years old, she met my stepfather, and his name was Juan Jimenez. So my mother married him. He was from Mexico. That's where I got my brother, Pete, and my sister Amparo, and the other sister that passed away,
So your dad's name, what was your dad's name?
Antonio Hernandez. And my stepfather's name was Juan Jimenez.
Oh.
So my mother married him, and he used to work on the railroad for the Santa Fe. I used to have pictures of him with his gang of workers. God, those pictures got lost during the time. And he was he treated me good. For being my stepfather, and Pete, of course, he was spoiled more than I was. And but he was nice to me, even though he was my stepfather. And he worked in the coal mines. And after he worked on the railroad, he quit and he went to work in the coal mines. And then he got sick, miner's consumption.
Right.
The coal dust got to his lungs. And I remember he was sick for a long time. A lot of people were dying of mine consumption those days. Men working in the coal mines too much. He passed away in 1932. He passed away. He was 42 years old, and so was my mother. They were both the same age. So when he passed away, my mother was a widow again. But by that time, we already had my brother and two sisters. And then of course, I was real young. I couldn't get a job anywhere. So when I turned of age, I think I was 16 or 18, I got my first job at the Harvey House, where I dropped the banana cream pie. So I was a dishwasher there. It had a big long counter, aluminum coated counter with a hole in the middle like this.
Yeah.
And they had a 50-gallon can down there. And the dishes would come by, and I would scrape all the leftovers from the plates onto the garbage can down there. And the dishwasher was swirling around like that. I'd push the dishes in there, and they'd come out clean on the other side. And it was a hot, steamy job. Before you know that, by the end of the day, that came that big, like this. It was full. It would be overflowing. It was like a skate on roller skate wheels on top of a big platform, and they pull it out, and then they put an empty one, and replace it with an empty one. And the full one, a guy would come and collect it. Have a, he had a pickup, and he would come pick it up, and he would feed all that garbage to his pigs. Take it home to their farm.
You won't waste anything, huh?
No. So, so then from there I graduated to the storeroom in the Harvey house. I knew the guys in the storeroom. We used to unload the trucks.
Right.
Trucks that come in with watermelons or fruit or whatever. We used to unload them, stock them, and everything. I don't know for how long I worked there.
So and then that banana cream pie?
And then from there I went to oh yeah, I was working in the store when that happened.
Yeah.
And one of the guys told me, hey, you're supposed to take a banana cream pie to the train number, whatever, let's say train number 22 coming in.
Now these trains, they were the steam engine trains?
Steam engines, yeah.
With the big holes coming out.
And just you could hear the whistle. Hey, here it is. The train's going to be here at every time. He said, take this crate of, I told you, take this crate of milk, quart milk. I think there were probably 8 quarts in a crate. You know, you've probably seen them. Made out of wire, separated with wire.
Oh, yeah.
In a bottle in each compartment. And then a cream pipe there on my arm, balancing it in my arm. And I had a hookup with that old man, balancing it. And he said, hurry up, the train's, I think the train's stopping. You could hear the screeching of brake. Yeah, they were stopping. I walked the building. I had to walk like from here to the mailbox. But he was all paved with brick in front of the Harvey house. He wasn't cement sidewalk. He was all brick.
Yeah.
I remember. And while I was walking toward the train, the black conductor was on the steps of the train. Hurry up, man! Hurry up, man! I was over there rushing and everything. He said, wow! Banana cream pie slipped off, splattered all over the place. Oh man, look at what you told you, oh man, you dropped, oh man, oh boy, you dropped the banana cream pie. He was all excited. And of course I felt bad, real terrible. So I handed him the container of milk. And he got like, oh man, what am I going to do? What are you going to do? So I said,
and you couldn't get him another banana cream pie, or?
No, he was ready to leave. So the person that whistled that they were going to leave. So he pulled up the steps and took off. He was very unhappy about it. I guess he had to go deliver the news to whoever ordered the pie that the banana cream pie had been demolished on the sidewalk. Of course, I had to go back in and report it. That's when the manager, Mr. Crapster, fired me. He got mad.
Mr. Crapster?
Crapster, yeah. What a name, huh?
It just fits the personality of the person, huh?
He's a kind of a chubby guy, red-faced guy. I could tell he was a redneck.
Were you nervous to tell him that you dropped it?
I was a little nervous, yeah. I had a feeling I was going to get fired. Because in those days, during the Depression, they'd fire you, there'd be half a dozen guys out there waiting for a job. Got replaced later on that same day. So he wrote out my check. He said, well, I'm sorry, you're fired. Just like that.
What did you do after that?
I walked out, of course. I walked out of there. And I didn't even tell anybody, or my mother or anybody. That's when I started hiking. I thought, well, I'll hike my way to California before my mother's aware of what's happening.
All the way from Gallup?
Yeah. That's when I walked all the way to the state line. That bushes, and I told you about that. And I met this guy from Kentucky,
Oh yeah.
And so we got together. And he wanted to commit suicide when we were on the road. We were thirsty and sweaty and blisters on my feet. And he said, you know what, we didn't have too much traffic in those days.
Right.
You know, like compared to today's traffic. And it was the old Highway 66. Once in a while it'd be a car, zoom, zoom. We'd be like that. Nobody would pick us up.
No money,
No,
nothing,
I,
huh?
I think I had $20 bill that I had paid them.
And $20 back in those days,
So
that was
it went quite a bit, quite a
right.
ways. It would be like having almost $60, $70 a day. He didn't have any money, evidently. And we were about the same age, 18, 19. And he said, the next guy that comes, he said, if we don't get it right, I'm going to throw myself in front of it and commit suicide. Get it over with. And I said, no, no, don't do that. I said, I got scared, you know. I thought he would do it. He said, if you do that, they're going to think that I pushed you in front of the car or something. And I won't get to California. I'll go back to Gallup and face a murder trial or something.
Do you remember? Do you remember that guy's name? Do you remember his
No, I
name?
sure don't remember his name.
He's just from Kentucky,
Yeah, he told me he was
traveling to LA to become a musician.
musician.
Wow.
So, I tell you what,
During the Depression, that has to be a
lot of people on the road,
right.
a lot of hobos on the freight trains. And until we got a ride at the state dock for the, I told you about the windmill. We got a drink there, washed ourselves.
Just a big windmill sitting in the middle of
a big windmill around like a ranch house. And there were some cows, I could see some cows in the distance. That's what the water was for. We had an overflow pipe, we drop it into a bigger tank, that's where the cows would come by and drink water. But the cows were about from here to that house. They didn't approach us. And the people in the house, evidently they weren't there.
yeah.
Because nobody came out.
And at that time, going to somebody's property.
I thought maybe, now I've come to think about it. Those people had been there and seen us there. They're going to chase us out of there and taking a shot at us. But no, we drank plenty of water, washed ourselves, washed my feet and
blisters.
And we went back to the road. We were about a half a mile from the road, that farm. So here we are on the road again. And when we were hiking, I told you that shell truck stopped. Shell truck stopped, and the driver was kind enough to offer us a ride. He said, where are you guys going? I said, we're going to LA. He said, well, I'm not going that far. He said, I'm just going as far as Winslow. I can give you a ride that far. That's good enough. So I don't know I forgot how many miles that was from where he picked us up. He dropped us off in Winslow. And then I went to ask for a job there. I told you I went to see the housekeeper. She was a nice lady, but mighty nice to hire me. I'm sorry, young man, but we don't have any openings right now. Everybody's got a full crew right now. I said, well, okay. So I got out of there and we started. That's what he said. I'm going to hop a freight. Next freight, I'm going to hop it to California.
Who? Oh, the guy from Kentucky said that?
Huh?
The guy from Kentucky?
Yeah. And I said, I can't hop a freight. I can't run. I said, I won't be able to catch a train. I'll trip and fall or something. So I saw him get on the train. The train came by and it whistled. And I said, okay, before he picks up speed, go get it. Good luck to you. So long, he said. So he hopped on, and I stayed behind. Until that evening, I told you, I walked under the trestle when it got dark. It must have been at 7 or 8 o'clock. I believe it was in July, I think, in June or July, because I remember it was very hot. And I saw this guy smoking cigarettes under the trestle there. And this one, they saw me coming. They said, hey boy, where you going? What are you doing out here? I said, oh yeah, well, I'm headed back home. Where are you headed for? I said, I'm headed for Gallup.
You listen to them.
So he said, "Oh man, you're practically home. We're going all the way to Kansas City." So they had a bottle of wine and we were passing it around, drinking wine. We soon the freight train came. And they told me, "Why, have you ever hopped a freight train before?" I said, "No, this is my first time." He said, "Be careful." He said, "Don't fall off."
Yeah.
So no, they got popped the train, and I hopped on it, about 2 cars behind them. Then I climbed up on top of the boxcar and I was walking along, trying to meet them. Find out someone on a gondola. There they were. He said, "Where you been?" I said, "Oh, I was back there about 2 cars." I said, "Oh, I rode the couplings for a while." "Oh man, don't do that." He said, "That's dangerous." So I was looking for you guys. "Well, here we are," he said.
So you ended up jumping the train.
Yeah, I climbed down the ladder and then onto the couplings and then up the ladder into the gondola.
Were you scared trying to jump the train for your first time?
No,
No.
no, I wasn't afraid. I was just afraid that I might pick up too much speed and I would be able to catch it. But once I got a hold of the ladder, I got hung on, swung my feet over, started climbing up on top of the boxcar. Oh, here we are traveling. And you can see this. It was those old steam engines. They let out a lot of smoke. And my face was all smoked up and everything when I got home. When we were getting close to Gallup, they said, "Okay, we're getting close to Gallup." Says, "Before you get off, the train's going to slow down a little bit." I knew Gallup like the palm of my hand because I grew up there. So I know just about where to get off.
Yeah.
So the train kind of slowed down and said, "Okay, jump off, climb down the ladder and jump off and keep running when you jump off so you won't trip and fall." So I did. I jumped up and kept running. And from there, I had to hike home for about 3 miles to my mom's house at 4 o'clock in the morning.
This is all back. This is during the Depression.
Yeah, during the Depression, a lot of people were hopping on freight trains and everything. So I got home about 4:30 in the morning after walking from Gallup to Gibson, the little mining town where my mother lived. So when I got home, my mother, she used to get up about 5 o'clock in the morning, start making tortillas and stuff.
Come and sit down, Mom.
And she was surprised when she saw me. She said, "What are you doing this time of the morning?" I said, "Oh, I told her I just came from California." "What? Where you been?" "I thought you were working at the Harvey house." "I was, but I got fired for dropping a banana cream pie." I told her the whole story, that I had hiked all the way from New Mexico to the Arizona state line, 25 miles. I walked. That's where I met this guy from Kentucky. Oh, she was worried. "Oh, my bit." She used to call me Nino. "Oh, Nino, I don't know what I'm going to do with you." I have to realize that my mother was only about 50 years old at that time. Still a young woman.
Yeah.
Like yourself.
Yeah.
She was about still her age when that happened.
That was
And she said, "You better clean up. You're all black from the stuff, from the smoke from the engine." So I washed myself and cleaned up. And she gave me some clean clothes and I went to bed. And then she said, "I don't know, what are you going to do next?" I said, "I'm going to look for a job." She said, "You're not going to try to hitchhike again?" I said, "No." She said, "You know what? I don't trust you. You're liable to do it again." So I'm going to write to some. We had some relatives in Garden City, Kansas. Relatives of my mom, of my grandma. The Guillanas, the Guillanas. That was my grandmother's maiden name, Montoya and Guillan. So they lived in Garden City, Kansas. So they send me a ticket to get on the Greyhound bus to go to Garden City, Kansas.
Your mom wrote him a letter?
Yeah. She told her, "Please, take care of Ben and see if maybe you can find him a job there." So I went, I was 19 years old. I remember now, I was 19 years old. And I got on the bus and I got there at night in Kansas, Garden City, Kansas. I got there about 8 o'clock at night. And Lupe, he was one of the younger guys. He had a car and he picked me up and took me to their house. I still remember their address, 104 North 4th Street, Garden City, Kansas.
Wow.
I still have it in my mind. So I stayed at their house with his mom and dad. And she used to make the most delicious pancakes I ever tasted. His mother, Luca's mother,
Yeah.
she was up to her. She was about my mom's age. She was making, well, at that time, I was young, and personally, I thought that they were the most wonderful pancakes I had ever tasted. With butter and syrup and the whole works. And I was wondering, how do people make a living here? You know, Kansas is flat. You don't see any mountains. Did you know that? You never been to Kansas? It's flat. No, hardly no mountains at all.
Yeah.
Then you're like, where you see the mountains and all that. It's all flat and it's all agricultural. A lot of agriculture. People raise farms and pigs and raise vegetables and everything. And so I said, how do people make a living here? He said, oh, we go according to the crops. Whatever's in season, we pick them up. So it was a beet harvesting time. Sugar beets. I don't think you guys ever heard of them. They're beets, and almost as big as that black lamb.
Wow.
Big like this, white, and you can see they're on the ground where they'd been plowed over, taken from the ground with that, whatever they call that machine, that tosses them out of the ground on the side, and you top them off. They give you a knife about this long, like a machete, and at the end it's got a hook, like a sharp hook.
Yeah.
So you pick up the beat with a. They taught me how. Here's how you do it, Ben. They were used to it. They do that every season. Stick that hook in the beat, pick it up, put it in your arm, chop off the leaves, and toss the leaves aside, and drop the beat, and you just keep going. You can see the first of beets, man, for about a mile, just rows and rows of beets. You can see a lot of farmhands working. But I wasn't used to that kind of work.
I bet you were
They were
beat
on my
after
back,
working all day, huh?
You're bent over all of it. I got after a while, I get the neck of it, pick it up with a hook, put it here, chop off it, and I was scattering leaves all over the place. I said, no, try to keep the leaves in one pile. So when the truck comes, they pick them up pick all the leaves up from the beets and put them in the truck. I was scattering them, tossing them all over the side. After a while, I got the knife of it and I was tossing it in one pile as I went along. Those things, after a while, they got heavy, chopping it one after the other. So by the end of the day, my back could feel it. Oh man, I wasn't used to that, but they're already used to it. And they had a sugar factory there. Did you know that they make sugar out of those beets? That's why they call them sugar beets. And they're white. You slice them like a watermelon,
Yeah.
and they're snow white on the outside as well on the inside.
Are they good? Are they good to eat?
Oh yeah, you can eat them. They're sweet. And then they had a factory, a sugar plant where they make sugar. And they took me out on a tour. My relatives took me on a tour. See, here's where the beets drop from the truck. They drop them in there, and they go through a conveyor belt, and then there's a rinser, water dripping, and dripping water on the beets as they go on the conveyor belt, and brushes like a car wash, and they brush them nice and clean. They drop it to a vat, and then the vat's turning. It's like a shredder. It's turning. The beets are falling in there, and the shredder's grinding them up, grinding them all up, and all the beet, all the pulp is falling into through the cracks down into there, and then they squeeze out all the droppings, they squeeze out all the water, and then they burn it through a kiln, and then it comes out sugar. You see big lumps of sugar all over the place. And sometimes I get a hammer and knock out a chunk, just ordinary sugar. Yeah.
Was it just like raw sugar? Did it taste? Was it good?
Oh yeah, it was sugar.
Yeah.
I thought that sugar only came from sugar cane. But no, they make sugar out. They make sugar out of it. And you've probably seen. I've seen it. I've seen it. Hutchinson, Kansas. They had a plant there too. A sugar processing plant made from the beet. You think of a beet as being red. These are white. Just as white as that and big, heavy like that. That's why you have to use that claw to pick it up. You gotta be fast. Pick it up, put it on your arm, chop off the leaf stem, and just keep going. That's the way the people work.
Yeah.
And then after they were piled up, a truck would come with a couple of workers with pitchforks. They'd pick them up and throw them in the truck and take them to the plant where they make the sugar. It was interesting.
Yeah.
I worked there one season. That's it. And, and they had a big pig. Had a big pig. Man, he must have weighed about 400 pounds. Big white pig. They were going to kill him. To make chicharrones. So I had never seen that process done either. So they had a big old fire, a bonfire outside. They were boiling water in a big tub. And they had a table, real strong table, where they were going to lay the pig after they killed him. So the pig they got him out of the stall where he was. And he was grunting, what? So my Guadalupe, he got up on top of a shed with a 22, and he said, when that pig comes around, I'll get it right between the eyes. I said, I'm just watching, you know. He was up there waiting for that pig to come around. Pretty soon that pig come around, right in front of him, shot him right between the eyes, and he dropped. And right away one of them got a knife, slit his throat, and all the blood was straining. They were catching all the blood in a bucket like that red bucket we had there.
Yeah.
Catching all the blood to make tripas de sangre and stuff like that. You've heard of them, no?
What? Oh, blood sausage.
Blood sausage.
Sausage, yeah.
And pretty soon they hauled him away and put him on top of this big table, and they poured boiling water on him. I told you they had a big fire in a big tub. They were putting buckets of water on it, and then they rolled him over and put boiling water in him again. You know why they did that for? To loosen the fur. And then the workmen, about 3 or 4 guys with long knives, scraping the fur up, shaving it off, all the hair until it went down to the skin of the pig, just white. And pretty soon they hung him up. And they pretty graphic. So they split him in half, and took out all the guts and the whole thing. Start cutting him up in sections.
Yeah.
And putting some of the meat in boiling water to make chicharrones. So they make chicharrones, then they cut them up, simply like that, and then we make corn tortilla with chili and chicharrones. Oh, they were good.
Yeah, her family does that.
Yeah.
It's good.
Oh, it was quite an adventure. So I worked there that season, and pretty soon Christmas came along, and they were going to bring me home in their car. They were going to drive from Garden City to Gallup.
What kind of car was it?
Oh, I know. It was a 1936 Chevy, black.
Real skinny wheels?
Well, they were
It was a good.
pretty good at that time. 1936 Chevy. That was a nice Chevy. So they two of the brothers came and drove me home and drove me from Garden City to Gallup. And they were amazed when we got to Gallup to seeing all those red mountains, all New Mexico, all
Oh,
those
yeah.
big mountains. Hey, look at that! They were astounded. They'd never seen mountains before. All flat land. Hijo, mira los montes, qué grandotes, hijo. They were amazed at the mountains and everything. Here in New Mexico, how the red sand rock mountains are,
Yeah.
especially around the Gallup area. They were, and it was around Christmas time. And every little town that we came through, they had, it was all lit up across the street with lights and everything. Christmas time. I said, look how nice they decorated this town. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Holiday town. Until we got to home. And of course my mother was glad to see me back. And
And that's like in 1930s.
it was a 1939. 1939.
Wow.
I was going on 19 years old, not quite 20 yet. And then they had a man, they had a compadre, that he was a foreman for the railroad, for the Santa Fe Railroad. So when the harvest was over, he said, you know what? He said, would you like to work on the railroad? I said, sure, I'll take any job. I don't care. He said, okay, I'm going to hire you. I'm going to put you on the labor gang so you can work on the railroad. And you could stay with us. He had a family and had a little girl. So I stayed at their house. They gave me a little bedroom, a little bunk bed. And I slept. I used to sleep there. And I was working on the railroad. So here we go. She used to make my lunch. His wife used to make my lunch and everything. So I was working on the railroad. But the superintendent found out that I wasn't, I said I had to be 21. So he asked the foreman, I forgot his name, Ceballos or something like that. The foreman that hired me.
Yeah.
He told me, Mr. Ceballos, we can't have him on the workforce. He's got to be 21. He's only 19 or 20. Going to be 20. We can't hire him. You'll have to lay him off. So he laid me off. That's when they gave me a ride back to Gallup. I remember now. I remember when I was working on the field. There was one of the field workers. They had a daughter, and she must have been about 15, and she was always following me. I guess she had a crush on me or something. She was always following me. Where you going now, man? Where you going now, man? I gotta go over here. I'm going to do some work. Can I go with you? Well, if you want to. I didn't take her serious though. Now I wonder what happened to her.
Yeah.
Oh boy, what a stuff to think about all those things. I appreciate that what they did for me.
Yeah.
And you know what? I lost contact with them, with that family, and I called. Oh man, Mary was still alive about 6 years ago. I called over there, and I had the phone number, and I called, and I said, "Is this a Guillen resident?" And they said, "Yes." Can I talk to Mr. Lupe Guillen or Mr. Baltasar Guillen? I said, "Oh no, we're a different Guillen family. They moved out of here. I don't know where they went."
Uh,
So I never heard of the. I don't know the guys that gave me a ride home. They're about my age if they're still alive.
yeah,
But I'm sure their mother, the pancake lady,
yeah.
I'm sure, oh yeah, she was up in age at that time. She was probably about 50. So, never heard from him again.
So when you got back to Gallup, is that when you started working in the coal mine, or how old were you when you started
When
working
I
in the coal
got back to
mines?
Gallup, I started working for the Santa Fe on the railroad.
Uh,
So I went to the name of the company that did the hiring was named Holmes Supply Company. And they had a store. They used to sell merchandise and clothes and everything. And Mr. Gomez used to run that. And he knew my mom and my stepfather. He knew him. So I went to ask for a job. He said, yeah. So he hired me. And I went to work on the labor gang in the Santa Fe on these cars. You've probably seen them. Uh, they're like box cars, but they have bunks in them. And one of them is a kitchen. And you sleep in there. The guys sleep there. And we traveled all the way from Gallup, repairing the railroad, leveling it or whatever, taking out old railroad ties and putting in new ones. Started from Gallup all the way. We ended up in Daggett. Daggett, I remember we ended up in Daggett, and we were stationed there. We were parked there working on the railroad, and it was hard work.
yeah.
Those foremen are always on your back.
I mean,
And then in the summertime, hot like now, and in the winter time, those tools were ice cold. We used to have to make a fire and heat the handles of the shovels and the bars, steel bars, for laying in the track, steel bars. And I worked there, and the foreman, ora, most of the foremen were Chicanos anyway. And we saw us ligging and talking a little bit. Ora, fregado, ya dejen de platicar, a trabajar, vamos. So here we go. The old song says, I've been working on the rail just to pass the time away. No way. You don't pass the time away on the side of it. The former rower was after you. Oh, they're rough. And so after after I quit there, then I started working the coal mines. And my mother got mad. We were in Daggett,
yeah.
and they sent me a letter, and the war was about to begin. The Japs were acting up, and the Germans, and you could see troop trains going by. You could tell something was going to happen. And I thought, well, and we were repairing the railroad, and sometimes the train would go real slow, but we were repairing it until the trains passed by. Then we continued working with what we were doing. And we used to wait with the GIs and the train and everything. Never realized that one of these days was going to be one of those. So when we were in Daggett, they sent me a letter from the Gallup American Coal Company stating if I wanted a job, I had a job at the coal mine, in the coal mines. So I quit the railroad and I got the Greyhound bus. Went from Daggett, got the Greyhound bus back to Gallup, and I told my mother what had happened. She said, what are you doing? I said, I quit the railroad. I told her, they sent me a letter from the Gallup, from the coal mine, that I had a job. She went like, oh Ben, I don't want you to work in the coal mine. It's too dangerous. You're so young. I said, well, it's a job and it pays more than the railroad. She got really upset.
Yeah.
Oh, she went, oh Ben, you look so healthy and rosy cheeked and everything, been out in the weather and the sun and everything. Now you're going to work in the coal mines, and most of the coal miners are yellow and all they breathe is coal dust. Why'd you do that for? So, well, I've got to get some more money, honey, my mom. So yeah, so I went and got me a shovel and a pick. That's the first thing they require you to have. Big scoop shovel, like this. You've probably seen it.
Yeah.
To shovel coal.
Like a big one for
And
snow.
a pick with a sharp, where you dig underneath there make the coal come down. So I started to work there, and I had never been down the shaft. You get in a cage about each cage. It's an elevator. We call it a cage. It's made out of like fence, like the fences.
Mm-hmm.
And you get in, and the guy pushes the button. You step into it, and then they close the door. Then you go down 800 feet down below the surface. And then when you hit the bottom, 800 feet, then you go into the tunnels, what they call the entries. And the mine is like this. There's the main entry, and the mine goes different tunnels go this way. So we're working number 5th north, what they call 5th north. Me and other friends of mine, and we had to walk a long ways to our place of work underneath. By the time we got there, it was hot. Underneath the coal mine, it's very hot. There's hardly no air, and we had to take our own. I don't know if you've ever seen them, the lunch buckets for the coal miners. They have 2 compartments. One compartment on top is for the lunch, and the bottom part of it is for water. You take your own water down there. You fill it full of water, put the top on top of it like a what they call it, a double steamer. And so everybody had those lunch buckets. So we go down there whenever we got thirsty. By the end of the shift, the water was all gone. Where's your lunch? So we'd load that coal on cars. They had a little railroad. And they bring the nipper and the motorman, what they call a nipper and a motor, and an electric motor. And they bring the cars in. They say, how many cars do you want? Leave us 4. Okay. So they did hook 4 cars. I don't know if you've ever seen them. Oh, man, they're pretty big. And,
The heavy?
oh yeah, they're made out of wood with steel wheels. And the track is not like the railroad track. Just a small track, just enough for the coal cars. And I remember the motorman. The motorman, I remember his name was Pilar, and the nipper was Chicho. His name was Chicho Rodriguez. So they come and leave us the cars, and we load them. And we got them loaded up. There was about 3 or 4 of us guys. And each one loaded his own car. And we'd shovel and shovel and shovel until we topped the car as high as we could. Then when they were full, they would come and pull them out. The motorman and the nipper come and pull them out, and they'd leave us maybe 4 more if we wanted them. So the more coal you loaded, the more money you made. And then they took them out and they weighed them. Took them out and put them on the elevator. They bring them in down. They put them up 1 car at a time. Put them up there, and then they dump it. They weigh it on the scale. And each one, you had a tag like this made out of steel with a number. I still remember my number was 134. And it had the car inside had a snap on it. You know, it would snap that tin thing on there and fill it up. So when they dump it, they went by the number and according to your name as to who it belonged to. So they'd weigh it, and then they'd mark the weight on it, and the name and the number and everything, so they know who to pay.
Right.
So the more money, the more cars we filled, the more money you made. I think I still have a receipt where they paid me one time. I think it was $165 for I don't know how many hours. And well, that's the way we made our living. And I got hurt twice. One time there was a cave-in, and the top coal fell on top of me and almost buried me. But there were no big chunks, just small coal. And I was working with a couple of Slavish guys. They were from Czechoslovakia. Of course, they didn't speak Spanish and a little bit of English. And they were nice men, but they were much older than me. And when they saw me, the cave-in come on top of me, they started hollering in their own language. They call the nipper And the motormen, they came, hey man, what happened? I stood up, and I could feel blood running down my neck. I said, man, what happened? I said, coal came down on top of me. I said, oh, you're lucky, big chunk didn't land on you and crush you. He said, get on the motor, we'll take you out of here. So I got on the motor, flat on the motor on my stomach. They zoomed me out of there, put me on the elevator, took me up, and and they took me to the hospital. I remember it was St. Mary's Hospital, and the nurses were there, of course.
That's my phone. Sorry.
Yeah,
We could keep talking.
yeah. So the nurses came over, and I was I was a little dirty yet from working, because in the coal mine all you wear is pants, no shirt, no, because it's so hot. You're always sweating. So they laid me on a tarp, and then the nurses came by, and they bathed me. I said, "Oh man, he's going to bathe me." I tell you, nurses are used to that. So she came with a bowl of water and soap and washed me all over, gave me a good clean bath. Then she made me comfortable, and and they, they saw a big cut here on my head. Like, this part of the ear's missing. I don't know if you ever noticed it.
Yeah.
Got a piece of little strip of ear missing over there. I guess a chunk of coke cut me there. And they gave me about 7 stitches in the ear here, and some up here, some on my back here.
Stitches?
Huh?
You had stitches behind each ear and on your arm?
Yeah, back here on my scalp.
Oh, he's lucky.
Yeah, and back here somewhere, and of course my ear, but no broken bones. So I don't know how long I laid in the hospital, and when I got released, back to the coal mine.
What did your mom tell you?
Oh, she was worried, poor thing. When I when I got hurt, I was going around with Mary, your mom.
How did you meet Grandma?
I met her in her dad, her family moved 2 houses from me, like from here to Bob's house, the
Yeah.
neighbor. They moved across there, and she was only about 16. And every time I passed by with my lunch bucket to go to work, we used to catch a truck, and the truck would take us to the coal mine. And every time I passed by her house, she would be out in the porch just to say hi to me. I said, hi, how are you doing? I'm fine.
She liked you.
Yeah, I just kept on. I didn't pay no attention to it. and then I was taking my job serious, so I hopped on the truck and took off. And then when got out of work, got out of the truck, I come by and she was out there again. She'd be out in the porch. Hi, how was your day at work? Oh, fine. Hey, one day, I saw somebody. I saw a young girl putting a clothesline from her house to a pole. She was putting a clothesline, and she was up there hammering, pow, pow, pow. And I thought, what the heck's that? And I realized it was her. And then when she got through hammering, she came back to the house. And that's where I said, hey, were you the one that's putting up that clothesline? Oh, yeah, she said. She was a hard worker. She was hammering up that nail. That's where we got acquainted.
Yeah.
And then, one day, I was in town, walking around town in Gallup, and I saw her, and she said, where are you going? I said, well, I'm just cruising around town Gallup. So we dated. I dated her. She said, would you like to go out with me tonight? Yeah. So we got together, and one thing led to another.
Yeah.
We got married.
When you guys got married?
We got married December 12, 1942.
How old were you?
I was 23, she was 18.
Did you have kids right away?
Huh?
Did you guys have kids right away?
How long have you dated?
Well, we dated for about a year.
So what did it, Daddy? You seen her hammering? You knew
Yeah.
that she was a hard worker?
After I saw her hammering and everything, and I saw her walking around, I thought, you know what? Ain't better wrong.
Aw.
She was pretty thing.
Aw.
She was so young.
Aw.
Did you meet her parents?
Oh yeah. Her, oh, by the way, her parents were, at that time they were separated. Her
They
mom
were?
was in Arizona, and her dad, of course, was working in the coal mine. Oh, he was a nice, I remember he was 42 when I was going in there. He was still a young man. So, so,
Did you have to go and ask permission to date her daughter, or it was
no. We used to meet in back of a garage at night, in the evening. I used to write her a note, and I used to send her the note with my sister to give it to Mary. And I told her I was to meet me in back of the garage at 7 o'clock, okay? And she would send back a note, yes, I'll be waiting for you in back of the garage. And so that's how we go in back to the garage. It was a neighbor's garage. I remember it was made out of railroad ties. And we'd be back there, you know, smooching away.
Yeah.
And then she would say, I better go home. My dad's rather miss me. So she would go home and I'd go home. But sometimes we'd be talking, she'd be out in the porch and we'd be talking, and then her dad would come out. Maria, ya métete. Ya started. You know, come in the house now. That's getting late. Probably about 8 o'clock, and I used to go to bed early. So that's what I do. I said, well, goodbye, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. But he wasn't harsh with me. He just used to have her in the house at that time.
Wow, and you guys didn't have no telephones or anything back then, huh?
Oh no.
That was
If we had to make a telephone call, we had to go to the store. The store was close by.
Yeah.
The grocery store, place for clothes. It was a company store. It belonged to the Gallup American Coal Company. And I knew the manager and the clerks and everything.
So did you get paid in money or did you get paid in
Oh, no.
in company money where you
Oh
had
no.
to spend it in the
No,
store?
check. Give us out a check and go to the bank and cash it or whatever. Used to be the Gallup American Coal Company. It was a big mining outfit. They closed all those mines down now.
Yeah.
I wonder if you looked at the name of that company up, if they would, if you could like in archives
Still find
and
it.
see if they have pictures of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we used to go on vacation, Mary and I go to New Mexico, we'd always stop in Gallup and reminisce about those days, you know.
Yeah.
We'd go to the coal mine. Of course, it was closed down and everything. And they filled it up with trailer homes, mobile homes. And some of the old houses were still there.
Oh
The
wow.
old houses, the old company houses. When we got married, we used to live in a company house. It was a two-story house. I used to live there with my mom.
What did your parents say when you got married? Did they agree to?
Oh yeah. Oh no. We eloped. Do you know that?
Yeah.
We eloped. One day we were at a dance they called a silver moon. I don't remember. They had a big balloon like this, a big globe like this, with mirrors,
Yeah.
just mirrors all around it, and different lights shining on it, and you see would turn, it would reflect the different lights, you know. And it was, I remember that nightclub was named the Silver Moon. So I used to go there, and they used to make wonderful dances. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, look at that face. Too
Yeah.
much fun.
You spiked the
I
punch.
still remember some of the girls' names. But
Oh, no!
I won't mention them at this time.
Well, you're not on TV, Dad. They're not here any longer.
So I remember Mary was there, and I went to talk to her. She was sitting at a booth drinking a Coke. She didn't drink at all at that time. But I stopped by and say, hi, Mary, how you doing? She said, fine, how are you doing? Oh, I'm doing okay. So we started chatting, and I told her, you know what? Would you marry me? And she said, I thought you'd never,
Oh.
no, she said, yeah, I would. Yeah, but what about my dad and my mom? She said, they won't, I don't think they told me already that I wasn't getting ready to get married. I was too young. So I don't think they would like the idea. I said, why don't we get married on the slide? Get married on the slide. I said, yeah, that would be good. How are we going to plan this? She said, I'll tell you what, I'll go home and I'll pack up some clothes in a suitcase, pack up some clothes, and we'll call a taxi to pick us up. So I said, I knew the taxi driver. I knew the taxi driver. I knew him. Can't think of his name now. But anyway, we called him and we told him our plan. So Mary and I are we're going to get married. He was a ride from the from the mining town to Gallup to get a marriage license. So he did. He gave us a ride. Of course, paid, and we went to the courthouse and applied for a marriage license, and we got it, and we got married not by a priest, by a justice of the peace or something, if I remember right. And when we got back home, no, we went to a movie after we got married.
Yeah.
We went to a movie. I guess we saw uh, that movie Ganga Din. Remember that? About the Indian in India way long time ago with Cary Grant and Victor McLagan. That was in 1940, something like that.
What was it? What's the movie called?
Ganga Din. It's the name of the Hindu.
Yeah.
Had to do with the Hindu. And so so then when we got married, I saw a neighbor of mine. His name was Joaquin Asua. He knew my family and everybody. He knew me and Mary's family and everybody. And he had a car. So I could get a hold of the taxi driver. So I asked Mr. Joaquin, I told him, ¿nos puede dar raite para la casa de la Mary? Dijo, sí. ¿Por qué? ¿Qué pasó? "No, ya nos casamos." ¿Se casaron? Y ya te casaste, te fregaste. You know, you got married, you asked for it. So he took us. So he took us to my. Mary said, how am I going to face my dad? He's going to be mad. I said, well, we're married, or there's nothing you can do about it. So he got home. ¿Dónde estabas, Maria? He jumped on it, like I tell you, him and his wife were separated. So he was living along with my other Mary's two brothers and sister, Lorraine. And Mary told him, well, you know what, Dad? Ben and I got married. ¿Qué? ¿Qué pasó? ¿Cómo que te casaste? He was really pissed off. And he was very religious. He says, conmigo no están casados hasta que no se casen por la iglesia. Yeah, you got to get married through the church. Otherwise, as far as I'm concerned, you're not married. You're just living together in sin. Oh, boy, he chewed us down good. But they were, what are you going to do? With, now, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to take her home.
Oh,
So I took her home with me. And we stayed with my mother for a while until we rented a house by ourselves. And then about the time Orlando was born, 1943.
you stood up to him, huh?
Huh?
At least you told him you were taking her. You didn't say, well, we'll leave her here until we get married by the church.
Yeah.
Did you
Oh,
get
I said,
married?
no, he said, don't consider yourself. He said, I won't approve of this until you get married by the church. Then you can, then I'll approve your marriage. Otherwise, I don't.
How long
I don't. Huh?
after?
About a month afterwards, we got married by the church. Then he was happy.
Did your mom leave?
Yeah,
You went up to your mom's and told
I
her
went
that
back to her mama and I told her that we had gotten married. She was surprised too, but she didn't get mad. But she was surprised and it was unexpected for her. I told her, but we're going to get married by the church as soon as we can. So, we made arrangements. They went and got married by the church in Gallup. The sacred, I remember it was a Sacred Heart Church in Gallup, New Mexico. 1942.
And when you were still working in the coal mines?
Yeah, I still work in the coal mine.
And so now you saw the soldiers going by on the trains, right?
Yeah.
Were you worried about getting drafted into the military?
Well, I knew that sooner or later I would get drafted, but at that time, coal miners were considered essential to the war effort because they needed coal for the factories and everything, because the factories were working full time, manufacturing guns and ships and airplanes and tanks. So they considered coal miners essential to the war effort. So they used to give us deferments, all us younger guys. The older men, no. All us younger guys, I would get a letter from the service, from the government saying, you have a 3-month deferment. We'll keep in touch with you. So I had 3 months deferment. That meant they were not going to come for 3 months. And so I kept getting deferments until April of 1944. Then they sent me a notice. You have been drafted. You must join the service now. Go to your nearest armory to get a physical and see if you pass a physical and see what branch of the service you can serve in.
That's a big truck going by.
Yeah. Oh,
Ashley Furniture.
so me and a bunch of guys my age, of course, all the younger guys, we got drafted finally after all these deferments. By that time, it was April 1944, I remember. And they took us to the armory and they checked us, they made us undressed and everything. They checked their feet and they saw my toes. You can see how my toes are. One of the guys looked at the army guy said, you can't go in the army with the toes like that. The combat boots are going to hurt you. And I used to walk all the time.
Yeah.
My feet never bothered me.
He didn't know you hiked you from
No.
Gallup all the way out
Oh,
to
yeah.
here.
Drop
So he said-
trains.
Yeah, so, and so he said, the next guy came over there, he was from the Navy, and he checked me out and everything. He said, you do in the Navy. So I signed for the Navy. So, yeah, they sent us to boot camp, different,
Where did you go to boot camp?
in San Diego, 1944. Went to boot camp there for about, I don't know how long it lasted. And I passed all the obstacle course.
Yeah.
Of course, I was young and I was in good shape working in a coal mine. I was in good shape. So I passed all the tests and everything. And then I got a letter. A bunch of us guys got a letter where we were going to be assigned to. And I got a letter saying, you were going to be assigned to Texas A&M to go to radio school to learn the Morse code. To learn that. So they assigned me to go there. And a lot of guys said, "Hey, I hear you're going to say uh, uh, Texas A&M school in Texas, huh?" I said, "Yeah." "Man, you're lucky. We're going to get sent to the Pacific." The Pacific with to fight the Japs or the Germans. "Man, you lucked out, man." So here we're going a fruit trade all the way to Texas. And I went to school there for about 3 months. That's where I learned all the procedures about how to send and messages and everything like that, code and everything. It's quite a bit, quite to it.
Yeah.
And did you know? That, of course, you don't know, but every ship in the United States Navy has a four-letter code word, and our ship was NGAW.
What did that
And
stand for?
every time we'd get a message like on the typewriter, and if it was, we would say the time, the date, and the time and everything, and then NGAW, that meant it was for us. Like I said, every ship in the Navy has a number. So when we read NGAW, that meant it was for us. So we copy the message, click, 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 we copy it, and then if it was for us, we had to carry it out. I said, knock on the captain's door and give it to him because it concerned. God only knows what it said. Nobody knows because there were 5 letters. Okay, a row of 5 letters all the way down like this. Like say for example, QRDWA, uh, ADWCX or whatever. It didn't make sense, right? And then this captain would put it through the decoding machine that only he knew.
Yeah.
In his office. He put it through the decoding machine, and Eddie would tell him what it said, whether discontinue course you're on, or go 30 degrees northwest or whatever. So, that's what it was all about.
What ship were you on?
I was on a DE. That's a destroyer escort. It's smaller than a destroyer. They call it a destroyer escort, and DE 113. I wish I had that picture of it. I don't know what happened to it. Remember seeing it
Of the ship?
of the ship? Yeah,
No, never.
I've gone it. I know it's around here somewhere. I almost think that's it.
I heard that. Do they still use that DVD on still now, or they're
Oh,
more
no, I
upgraded?
forgot it.
Talking, my dad was just talking about the older days and Alex's video. I
I used to do like so
Uh-huh.
nobody would know what was said.
Yeah, Morse code. Yeah. Yeah, Morse code was used so it can't be encrypted.
Yeah,
Only you guys knew what it was, right?
We didn't know what it said. We just typed down the letters that we were receiving. But it did, like I say, 5-letter words.
Yeah.
When they were through, I forgot how they used to end it, over and out or whatever, so that we would take the shit out of the typewriter and knock on the, supposed to knock on the captain's door.
Yeah.
That he would open it and we'd have, here's the ship, here's the message for our ship. Thank you. And he would lock himself in, but he would put it through the decoding machine, and then only he knew what it said.
Yeah.
Then he would instruct the guy that steered the boat or whatever,
Right.
what course to take. For example, they had a map. Say, for example, we were going this way. Sometimes would say, well, turn 30 degrees to the east. So instead of going straight like this, go 30 degrees to the east, it would change course or whatever,
Right.
either right or left.
Their map, basically.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Where did you go? Once you passed your schooling and all that, where did they send you
Then they
off
sent
to?
me aboard ship to New York, to the Brooklyn Navy Yard. That's where the first time I went aboard ship.
Giant buildings and
Yeah. And you take a guy from New Mexico that works in the coal mines, what do you know about big buildings and ships and oceans and stuff like that, So when I got aboard ship, me and a couple of other guys. I was in the bottom bunk. I had two bunks all around the dormitory, two bunks each. And I started getting acquainted with all the guys. Most of them were from New York, and most of them were of German ancestry.
Oh.
Ellinger, all Schneider, and all that. Most of them, of course, they were Americans, but
Right.
they were of German ancestry. And me and another guy, he was a Puerto Rican. We were the only Latinos aboard ship. I think there were three or four. Well, one of them was named Pancho. He was from Texas. He was rough. He used to wake us up in the morning. Oh, okay, time to get up. Come on, and start banging on the cots with a stick. He was Pancho. I forgot his last name. He was rough. Get up, you guys. It's time to get up and reveille. And it's enough sleep. I'll wake up. Oh, yeah, all right. They would get up and get dressed up, shower, and get in line for breakfast for the galley. And they just serve us some pretty good food.
Yeah.
And they serve us everything fresh while it lasted. After we ran out of fresh milk, they used to give us powdered milk. Just to mix it with water, and and they used to call it a big tray like that. Guess what they used to call it? Shit on the shingle. It was like a cookie tray.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know, ground beef or I don't know what it was, but that's what they used to call it. What are you having for lunch today? Shit on the shingle. Oh man.
And all this time when you were out there, you would talk to Mary. How would you guys communicate?
Oh wait, no, we used to respond by letters only, of course, by mail. She used to write to me in Brooklyn Navy Yard.
And that time she only had one kid or two?
Yeah, only one, only Orlando, the
Yeah.
baby.
So when you would walk the streets of New York, was it, I mean, just looking at everything coming from New Mexico to New York,
Yeah,
it was,
you probably seen it on TV. The swarms of people just coming at you.
yeah.
For what you mix in with them, and shoulder to shoulder, crowds. I mean, unbelievable. Walking down the street of 42nd Street, Broadway or whatever.
Yeah.
After a while, you get used to it. Then you cross the street, and the people just cross the street, and they hold back the traffic. You probably seen it on TV.
Yeah.
The swarm of people crawling, and the traffic they stop the traffic because until all the people get across. And if a guy tries to run through, but they'll tap him on the hood. Stop there, let us through. You know how they are. They're pretty rough. And we get on the subway and get a bunch of straight people on the subways, They're hanging out to go sleep there. Some of them actually fall asleep, going to work or whatever. They're hanging on to that hangers they got aboard on the subway, and they fall asleep.
Yeah.
Be like this.
That's
You
crazy.
see all kinds of nationalities in there and everything.
Yeah. And during the war, I mean, would you be suited up in your navy blues and all
Oh
that?
yeah.
Or?
Yeah, we'd be in our uniforms, of course, and I used to go when I was in New York. I used to stop in Brooklyn. I used to stop at a place called Romeo's, and I used to stop there all the time and have spaghetti and meatballs and a glass of wine. And the guy already knew me. Did I tell you, guy?
Yeah.
Said, "How you doing, mate?" "Oh, I'm doing fine." "What are you gonna have?" "Oh, I'll have spaghetti and meatballs today, and a glass of wine." So, and then I used to hang out with guys from New York, of course they knew their way around,
Right.
so I used to stick with it, and they knew more or less where to go eat, good places to eat.
Right.
So we used to go there, and one day I went by myself. I told you, I went by myself on the subway, and I got lost. I remember we used to take the subway in Brooklyn, right off Canal Street. I went down, got on the subway, took off. But I didn't know where to get off. So finally, I decided, well, I better get off here. So I got off. Guess where I was? Harlem.
Oh no.
No, Harlem.
I don't remember. I don't
Nothing
remember
but
this.
colored people.
Yeah.
I said, what the? You know, everywhere I turned, black people, black buildings, and people in the board sitting, nothing but blacks, you know. I started getting kind of uncomfortable. And I was walking down the street, and a black guy came toward me. Hey, mate, got a cigarette? At that time, you know, I smoked Lucky Strikes. I said, yeah. I was going to give him a cigarette, but about that time, a cop came by. And he said, hey, leave the sailor alone. Get back. Leave the sailor alone. Oh, okay, okay. So he backed up. So he asked me, hey, mate, what are you doing out here? I said, I'm lost. I don't know the way around. I'm trying to get back to 42nd Street. And he said, oh, man, you're off. She said, go down the corner of this block, take the subway there, and he'll take you to 42nd Street. I said, oh, thank you. Stay away from here now. He said, don't get lost again. I said, oh, don't worry, I won't. So from there on, I used to go with different guys from the ship that do their way around.
Right.
I didn't go by myself anymore. So, yeah, sure enough, got in the subway, got off, it was a more familiar territory, 42nd Street, the usual crowds, back and forth and everything. Oh, it was quite an adventure.
How was the Statue of Liberty? I've never been to.
No, I didn't get close to it. I saw it from a distance.
Yeah.
It's got like a greenish glow.
Yeah.
You've probably seen it. We saw it from the ship, but we never got close to it or in it. But I was right underneath our Empire State Building, and you know, like a hillbilly. Oh boy.
Wow. And the Empire State Building when the plane crashed into it.
Yeah, plane crashed into it while we were there in 1944.
Yeah.
A bomber crashed into it. I don't know if you ever seen it on the news. It crashed into the building and made a hole as big as that wall. You know, the twin-engine bomber.
Yeah, just like the
It killed
Twin Towers.
Yeah, it killed a pilot, and I don't know who else was up. It killed 13 people inside the building.
Yeah.
Office workers and stuff. The fire and everything, explosion. From the board our ship, you could still see it. See that when I got discharged, you could still see that whole up in it. Thought it been repaired, but I think it was on the 89th floor.
Yeah. So after New York, they shipped you out. You went.
And then from there, we went to. I told you about going to England twice. It took 5 days to get across the ocean to England.
Yeah.
For 5 days, all you see is water all around the horizon. The first time we ended in Plymouth, England, and then came back to Brooklyn, and then the second time we went to Portsmouth, England. And we walked around London, and me and I still hang around with 3-4 guys. And when we came back to Miami, Florida. And I never thought that I would see Miami, Florida.
Yeah.
And so we used to go, we used to get leave. We'd go to Miami Beach and swim on and just watch people go.
How was London when you went to London?
London,
she hasn't heard any of this story.
No,
so
London was all bombed out. I don't know if you ever heard of the Blitz, where the Germans were bombing the heck out of London. They thought they were going to make London English surrender by bombing the heck out of London. And the German Air Force, for about a month or more, they were bombing London and destroying it. And then the Royal Air Force picked up speed, and they were shooting down so many German bombers that the Germans quit sending them over there. And that was the end of the Blitz, but they destroyed a hell of a lot of London. All you could see was foundations and collapsed buildings and plumbing and bare slabs of cement. Everything. We went to a restaurant, didn't have anything to eat. All the food was going to the soldiers. So we went to a couple of, me and some other guys went to a restaurant. It was real dreary looking. And the waitress came over and she asked us, what are you guys going to have? Of course, we didn't dare say, hey, how about a big couple of pork chop or a big steak? There was no such thing at that time in there. So we had to settle for fish and brown bread and what they called stout beer. The beer was the color of this real dark beer.
Yeah.
Hardly no food.
Fish and bread.
Fish and bread.
That's all we had. And shoot, what do you want to eat? There was
Healthy,
there was
it
no
was all
options.
healthy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all fresh fish because it was all right.
Oh yeah.
It's all right there.
So we see the German submarines were sinking a lot of ships that were going supplying goods from the United States to England, and they were sinking a lot of ships. And then the Germans thought that by sinking all the ships, they would starve England.
Yeah.
But then the United States started getting wiser as to how to hunt down submarines. So after a while, they got an effective way to get rid of submarines, by detecting them with radar or whatever. They used to bomb them and blow them up. So the Germans quit sending the submarines over there to sink it. But at first, they were sinking ships right in there.
And this is in World War II.
Yeah.
This is like before Vietnam, before everything. This is in the 40s. This is, I mean, this is a big war.
Yeah, the troop ships hundreds of soldiers would be lined up outside the railing. You could see them.
Yeah. That's when you see on TV all the the planes, it's all black and white war and all that. That's the war that he was in, World War II.
And our ship used to help be on convoy duty. Convoy duty has been, you've probably seen it, for a bunch of ships, transports are loaded. Some of them had, believe it or not, some of them had railroad engines on them, tanks, airplanes, trucks, all kinds of cargo, heavy cargo. Huge ships. You could just see it go like this in the waves, you know. And a lot of Germans there. Every time they sunk one of those, there was a lot of loss, not only in men, but in material and food. Until they got wise to it and started sinking their submarines, when they quit. And until we got to convoy duty, we would zigzag from one ship to the other to protect against submarines. And no, we never got any alarm. Because most of the day, by 1944, when I got drafted, most of the submarine threat was over.
Yeah.
The Germans were losing too many submarines. I think they sunk about 600 submarines between France and New York in the Atlantic.
Wow. That's a lot of damage. I mean, that was
they did a lot.
That was a big war, and I mean, even being on your ship, just knowing that you're out there, I'm sure that was.
Yeah, and them waves would come at you like mountains. I'm not kidding. Just like a mountain coming at you. And you would think, well, it's going to involve the whole ship. So when a wave would hit, you would plow under it, the ship would plow under it, and then not come out the other side of the wave and keep on going. Like this. You had to hang out to railings and stuff. Hey, if you were outside, you'd get washed overboard.
You need your sea leg, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the road waves, right? Remember, I mean, like big road waves, the ones that just big giant
Oh,
waves
yeah.
that just come and
They
engulf
slapped that
everything.
ship, and they slapped that ship on the side. Out there, you could hear it vibrate.
Yeah.
Everything was screwed onto the floor. Tables and chairs and everything.
When they
So
would eat,
when we ate, if you didn't do that, there'd be chairs flying and tables and dishes all over the place. So when we ate, we'd hang on to our plate and enjoy our shit on the shingle. And we had to, if you were going to drink coffee, you had to keep it in your hand, you know.
yeah.
Put it on the table. Hang on to the coffee or whatever you were drinking. And then hold it with the other hand while you scoot some food in your mouth. But it wasn't always that way. Sometimes it would be calm.
Right.
Be calm. Right along.
Would you ever get on the bow and just look
Oh,
over
yeah.
and
Yeah, we'd get on the bow, and the bow is the front of the ship, and
yeah.
the fantail is the back of the ship.
Uh,
So we'd get on the fantail, and we'd watch the propellers turn up the water as we go by.
did you ever see whales or dolphins?
So
Or,
we saw a lot of flying fish.
oh yeah.
Yeah, they don't actually fly.
They just fly.
Oh,
Right?
they fly about. They fly about from here to the mailbox. You can see them jump out of the water.
They got long. They have real long fins that
Uh-huh.
they stick out, and they have the fin, and it just helps them glide across the top of the water, and then they get back in
Yeah.
the water.
Not very far like a bird, of
No.
course. Just small. You can see hundreds of them just dipping in and out.
Yeah.
Sometimes we see turtles. Turtles as big as that table. We
Wow.
could peer over the side of the ocean when the ocean was calm. You could see them turtles. You could see them going down. They could feel the vibration of the ship, I guess.
Yeah.
And then when we go to port, would be in port, the guys would build a cage out of wire, like chain link wire. Build a cage with a collapsible lid, and they let it down, uh, uh, down into the ocean, with a rope way down until it hit the bottom of the ocean. Of course, it was shallower then, close to the shore.
Right.
And we'd leave it down there for about an hour or two, and then we'd bring it back up, and there'd be all kinds of fish in it, like maybe it's baby sharks or crabs or eels and stuff like that. And of course, stuff that was eatable, we would keep it. The rest of it, we toss it over the side, and then the cook would come and chop off the head of if it was a fish or a crab or whatever, uh, put it in the boiling water, and we'd have fresh fish.
How long
That's
were you in the ship?
Huh?
How long were you in the ship?
About 22 months, almost 3 years.
In the
And-
ship?
Huh?
On the ship?
Oh yeah, on the ship. Yeah, but like I say, you had bunks down there and everything. Sleep down there and everything.
when did you get notice that the war was over?
Oh, I think it was in May 1945, where the Germans came up.
Yeah.
They called it VE Day. That's when they celebrated VE Day. I was aboard ship when the war was. They announced that the war was over with Germany. We got the news on the radio on the aboard ship, and we were riding the Atlantic somewhere, coming back to Miami, I think, or Jacksonville, Florida. We were on our way to Jacksonville, Florida, where we got the news. We didn't have liberty, so we had to stay aboard ship. Meanwhile, in New York, they were having, the people were celebrating. You've probably seen that picture of that sailor kissing that girl. You see that picture? That's when that happened. We were missing out on all that. We were aboard ship. We had to settle for ice cream
Oh.
until we got to Jacksonville, Florida, and then we got to leave. And then I happened to see a big parade coming up. We were on 42nd Street. A lot of people along the sidewalk. And what's happening? With the big parade coming. Uh, General Eisenhower's going to be in it. And well, everybody was looking forward to that. So pretty soon here comes the bands marching and everything. Pretty soon here comes a big limousine with Eisenhower in it. General Eisenhower.
General, you know who that is?
Remember him? He was a general in the war.
General Eisenhower was President Eisenhower.
Later on.
But before he was president, he was General Eisenhower in World War II.
Yeah. So here he was waving to people.
You actually saw him.
I saw him up from here to across the street there.
Yeah.
He was waving to everybody, you know. Crowds of people. Everybody was celebrating.
And then when you got on after everything was off, you got off the ship.
Yeah, they say, well, the war with Germany is over. A lot of people are going to get discharged.
Yeah.
So I remember I got discharged January the 6th, 1946. So then they sent us on a trip from Jacksonville, Florida, back to San Pedro to get my discharge papers. So I got my discharge papers there, and they gave us, I think, $500 in our discharge papers and a sticker that said discharged.
Yeah.
Whenever you saw guys with that, whether they were Marines, sailors, or whatever, if they had that emblem, that meant they were discharged from the service.
Yeah.
So after I got discharged, I got the bus back to the train, back to New Mexico.
They made you watch a video before you got discharged.
Yeah.
Right.
They made us watch a video, what not to do, not to take rides from strangers, or accept rides from strangers, or hitchhike.
Yeah.
This is what happens if you hitchhike. They showed a dead sailor probably on the road, dead, hit by a hit and run or whatever, or guys that took a ride from strangers.
Well, yeah, because they were in the Navy, but then they got discharged and they had a lot of money on them. So then people were trying to take advantage of the sailors.
Yeah.
So they made him watch a video, and when he went to the train station.
Yeah, when I went to the train station, I was waiting for the train there. I was approached by about two or three guys. And they could see my emblem and my brown envelope with my discharge. They knew right away that I was discharged. They said, "Hey, mate, how you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm doing fine. How are you?" "Oh, we're doing all right. Hey, where you heading for, man?" I said, I'm heading back home." "Where's that?" I said, "Gallup, New Mexico." "Hey, man, we give you a ride there. We're going to Kansas City. We're going to Kansas. We'll give you a lift to Gallup." I started thinking, no way. I said, "No, I'm sorry. Thanks for the offer. I already got my ticket for the train." So I took off.
Yeah.
They're going to roll me.
Yeah, exactly.
No way. So I got on the train back to New Mexico.
Yeah, and on the way back, that guy from Texas, when you were with the tequila.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about that story.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
On the way from Jacksonville, Florida, on the troop train, going back to San Pedro to discharge, with a bunch of us guys that were being discharged, and most of them were gauchos, and I think there were 3 or 4 of us Chicanos, me and this guy from Texas, and a couple others, and this guy from Texas, he said, "I know this train's going to stop in El Paso." That's where he was from. He said, "I live close by the train station. When the train stops, I'm going to get a taxi and go home and get a fifth of tequila, and I'll be back aboard the train before it leaves." And the guy said, "Are you sure you can make it?" "Oh man, I'm sure. I know my way around here. I grew up here in El Paso." So the train stopped, and and the buildings were about to get to the house. So the train stopped. He jumped out and he hailed the taxi. The taxi stopped. We got in the taxi, took off. And we were there. The conductor said, "We're only going to be here about 45 minutes. Everybody, if you're going to get up, stretch your legs, get up. I'll be back aboard the train for 45 minutes, or you're going to be left behind. We're going to consider you AWOL, absent without a leave. So you better be back on the train by that time." So we went and got we went to a closest bar there. But it was close by. There was a bar there.
Yeah.
So we went in there, had a beer, and this guy was going to get his tequila. And when we were crossing the street, three girls were coming by, Chicanas, and there was about three sailors. Three of us sailors go to the bar there, and one of them said, "Ay, cosotas." And then one of them said, "Shut up, what I'm a Chicano. You understand?" She said, "Oh, really?"
Because he was with white guys. So.
Yeah. So we got back aboard the train. As soon as a taxi came by, sure enough, here comes a guy with a tequila in a package. We got aboard the train. "I told you I'd make it. Come on, let's have a drink of tequila." He opened it up. He passed it around. Sweet, sweet, sweet. And the gabachos, of course, they were kind of leery about it. "Hey, man, what, that's strong stuff, ain't it?" But yeah, taste it. We tasted it. Oh,
They didn't know what tequila was.
no. Oh, that's strong. Give me another one. Oh, man. We killed that fifth of tequila on the way from here to San Pedro.
Yeah. What do those guys say about the coming to California though?
Oh, yeah. Some of the gabachos, they hadn't been around Mexicans too much. Said, "Hey, I hear there's a lot of Mexicans in LA." And I said, "Oh, yeah." I said, "Why?" He said, "Hey, I hear they're real mean. The Mexicans are real mean." I said, "No, I don't know who told you that. It's just people like us."
Yeah.
So, so we went out. I don't know what happened. After, I didn't see him anymore.
Yeah.
After we got off the train in San Pedro.
That's it. I mean, even after you got discharged, you went to San Pedro, and then after that, you went back out to New Mexico, right?
Back to New Mexico, yeah. I got discharged back to New Mexico. And the train stopped in Albuquerque. The train does not stop in Santa Fe,
Yeah.
which is close to Pecos, where Mary was staying with her parents. So I got off the train in Albuquerque and got the Greyhound bus to Pecos. We would stop there in Pecos, where Mary was with her parents. And on board the bus, when I was on board the bus, it was already night. I remember it was dark. And there was a girl by the window, and I sat next to her. And she saw that I was discharged. And she said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to Pecos, New Mexico." She said, "I live in Belen. Would you like to come to Belen with me?" And I said, "No." I said, "I'm married. I'm headed home to my wife." Oh, okay. So she didn't bother me anymore.
Yeah.
So when I got home, Mary was there with her folks, with her mom and dad, and of course she was glad to see me and everything. So from there on, life went on.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find no jobs in Pecos. There were no jobs there. I used to paint signs for restaurants and stuff.
Yeah.
I used to paint Carter's restaurant or whatever, food to go. I wasn't making too much money doing that. So I told Mary, "You know what? We can't make it here in Pecos. I'm going to have to get out of here. I'm going to go to California." I said, "I get a job there. When I get a job there, I'll send for you. you in Orlando. And Benny had recently been born. So she said, okay. So I got the Greyhound bus all the way to LA. And I walked the streets in LA, went to warehouses, stores, or wherever, asking for jobs. No jobs. Sorry, we're not hiring. It was 1940. That was 1940, 47, I think, or 48. And I could find no job there. And I said, well, I guess I had better head back to Victorville. My brother was working here at that time. He was working for the cement plant.
Yeah.
And and uh, I came and I stopped by his house, and he was surprised to see me. Hey, what are you doing here? I said, man, I've been all over. I've been to LA and everything looking for a job. I can't find anything. He said, well, you can stay with me. Maybe I work for the cement plant. Maybe you can get hired there. So I said, oh yeah, thanks.
Where did you live? Where did you live?
My brother,
Yeah.
he lived across the tracks by that new church, that black new church.
Okay.
Over there on, I forgot what street that is on. Yeah, he used to live there. And there was a grocery store there owned by Martinez's grocery store. They tore it down. That's where they built the new church.
Yeah.
That's for black people. So I stayed with him for a while, and I'd walk to the plant every day looking for a job. But doing any hiring today? Not today, man. Keep on coming, and there's an opening. So I kept on going for about a week. I kept going. Finally, I remember the guy's name. The dealer's name was Joel Martin. Said, okay, sign it here. I signed the paper and everything. Said, can you start working tomorrow morning? Sure. Okay. Start working tomorrow morning. I'll go to get your physical and everything today, and then tomorrow you can start working. That's when I started working at the plant. I remember it was April the 25th, 1949.
Wow.
I worked there exactly 35 years. And April the 25th, I quit. I was retirement. I told the plant, just give me my Social Security and my pension check, and I can make it. That's what I did.
You sent for
Oh
grandma?
yeah. After I started working at the plant, first or second check, I sent for Mary and the kids, and they came on the train.
You bought a house?
And then we started, no, we buy a house. That's where we rented that house where I built that racer.
Oh yeah.
That house is still there. It's still there.
Wow.
Every time Deanna comes, she said, Grandpa, let's pass by Willow Street, where you and your grandma lived 60 years ago. We passed by there, we stopped by there and check it out. How you doing, Dougie? And
How much was your rent?
$19 a month. 1949, believe it or not.
How much a cheeseburger? 10 cents?
Oh man, a hamburger. I remember a hamburger used to be about 35, 50 cents. I mean, big hamburgers.
Yeah.
There used to be a place going on the way to Old Randy. They call them Holland burgers. And that lady, she was famous for making hamburgers. Everybody used to stop there. It was a nice lady. She used to make the most delicious hamburgers compared to Carl's and
Oh yeah.
Burger King and all that. Fresh, nice hamburgers. That place is still open.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, only different, of course, run by different people.
Right.
The lady died, passed away years ago.
So when did you buy a house?
So then from living on across the tracks from that old house, from there we moved to First Street. We moved to First Street. We lived there we rented a house from Mrs. Hitchcock. This one is this huge one. We rented a house there. It was a little bigger than that one, a little bigger. So we lived there I don't know how many years, and then we moved to the company houses by the plant. We lived there for a while, and then maybe a year or so. And from there we moved to Mojave Heights. You know where that is? On the way to Oregon, up in that area there. And we lived there about maybe 4 or 5 years. And then we moved to Rio Vista Street.
Yeah.
And we lived there 25 years. And then when I retired, we bought this house in 1983. When I retired. It's been what, 27 years already?
Yeah.
Man,
Time flies.
we had this house built. The guy showed us the plans and everything. And your mom liked it. She said, yeah, build us that one. We had pictures of it. Real estate, the contractor. Your mom liked this, and your grandma liked this one. So we picked this one out. And it was kind of hilly. They had to bring a tractor and flatten it out from the slab. That's where they ended up here. One time went fast, 27 years.
Yeah.
Seems like just the other day, I was working on that loader. But the last day I worked, I used to drive a Caterpillar loader. And I could drive it just like I drive my car.
The big tractors with the big scoops in the front.
Yeah. You could lift up a car or whatever easily. The bucket. I remember the bucket on it was about to here on me.
Yeah.
And about to bring to the table. Scoop up a lot of material.
Wow.
And I used to drive that like driving my car. When I worked there about 17 years driving that thing. And when I got out, the last day I worked, I thought to myself, well, this is the last time I'll be sitting in this thing. So I checked it all out, checked the key was right here to start it off with, the controls and everything. Looked out the window. I said, well, I won't be here anymore after today. So I got out, climbed down the ladder, walked away from it, never saw it again.
Yeah.
I think I can still operate one.
Yeah. I remember when he used to bring me pennies and coins that he would put on the railroad track, and the trains would come and they would run the pennies over, and he'd bring them home and give them to me. And
They were flattened out.
yeah, they squashed them and straightened. I mean, they made them real long and big and everything. It was.
Yeah.
He used to bring a lot of stuff home. And I remember going to Mexico with Grandma. And it was.
There's a lot of people don't realize that all they see is cement in a bag or in a truck. But there's a lot of procedure going to make it cement. It all starts with a rock at the quarry. They blast the rock, and then they crush it. They have different crushers. And until great big rocks as big as that chair, they put it through a crusher at the plant. And it goes like this. Big steel plates go like this. Powerful.
Yeah.
They drop a rock that size, and you crack it, and then they send it to a smaller crusher until it comes out like gravel. That's how they make gravel. Out of big rocks.
Yeah.
And then they put it through the mills, what they call the mills, great big mills. They got corrugated steel inside. And it's turning. Noisy, boy, it's noisy. And they grind that up. And when it comes out the other end, they grind it with water. And it looks like cornmeal or pancake batter. So it looks like. And then they pump it into some big tanks. That's a big place they put it through the kiln and they burn it with gas or oil. And it comes out the other end, it's clinker. It looks like that 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 cricket that's used in barbecues. What do they call it? Briquettes.
Briskets? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it looks. That cricket does. Then they put it through the finish mills. When it comes out of the finish mills, it's finished cement. They pump it to the silos, and from there they load the trucks or whatever, and it's finished cement and ship it throughout the country.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of procedure to make cement. People don't know. We used to make about 10 different kinds of cement. Cement like type 1 is to make slabs, like for building. And then there's cement to stucco with, but it takes longer to dry, so they can finish it, and, you know,
Yeah.
whatever they. If you try to stucco with ordinary cement for sidewalks, before you know it, it get hard on you. Your stuff won't work. Gotta have that special cement for plastering. But it's all very interesting. I worked in all the departments.
Yeah. And you and Grandma have been married. Would have been married. How long?
Oh, about 67 years now. We've been married 62 when she passed away 5 years ago. Oh, I never thought that I would do so. But life goes on.
Does, and she's here with you always. You know, and it's you guys had a great life together.
Yes. Yeah, every time we go to New Mexico, your grandma used to say, "Oh, my heart wants to jump out of my chest." She said, "I get so excited when I come to New Mexico to see my mom." She used to go love to see your mom. Remember? Your grandma. And we go visit her dad's grave. Did I tell you how you saw the picture of her dad's grave? How I had it
you
made.
did it nice, yeah.
I designed it, and her uncle Felix made it out of cement. I paid for the cement and everything. And, yeah. So when we went back inside, I liked it the way I, I drew it out how I wanted it, and I explained to Uncle Felix how I wanted it done, and he complied with it. It came out good. He's a good cement finisher. He passed away already. All the brothers are gone. There's only one uncle left, Uncle Savino. Remember we met him? He's the only survivor.
How old is he now?
Oh, he's about 80 years old by now.
He was younger than than my mom?
Oh yeah. Well, I think there were 5 brothers. There was, of course, my father-in-law, and then Frank, and then Eduardo, and then Bernardo, and then Savino, and then Patricio, and Jenny. 7. Wow. My grandmother had 7 kids. And they all passed away except Savino. Remember we went to see, when was it? We were there 3 years ago? Remember we went to his house?
Maybe about 3 years. 3 years ago.
Yeah, he's the only survivor. I think. Still alive.
He had a lot of kids too. A lot of boys. That's all he had was boys.
Yeah, they're all building contractors too, like him. They build houses. And he sells firewood. Oh, he's got stacks and stacks of firewood. Sells it. You know, did your mom? I don't know if your mom ever told you that her dad got killed in an automobile accident going up the mountain toward the Gulf, New Mexico.
Yeah, the car's still there.
Yeah, it's a road something like going to Big Bear. And my father-in-law and his younger brother, Patricio Pat, they were in the car and they'd been drinking wine. And my father-in-law was driving. He had a, I think it was 36 or 38 Chevy at that time. And he went off the road and the car rolled down the bank. You've seen the place, no?
Yeah.
Tumbled end over on. It hit to the bottom of the river down there.
Well, he fell out and it hit it.
They think that when he saw that he was going over, they think he opened the door and tried to jump out. But when he did that, the car rolled over him, crushed him, killed him instantly. But his younger brother, he rolled that car all the way down, just like a mouse in a tin can.
No seatbelts though, huh?
Yeah. We went to see him at the hospital. Man, his face looked like a piece of hamburger. All purple and reddish and black eyes. And he was all beat up, all twisted and everything. But he was alive. He lived 10 years after that accident.
Wow.
It's amazing. We went to see him at the hospital. And when he got killed, I remember I think it was in August. And my father-in-law he wasn't old yet. He was only about 51 or 52 when he got killed. So years later, Mary said that my mother-in-law got married again, to Philemon, right? She married to Philemon. And she said one day they were going up the mountain. So my stepfather got killed, and that and Mary said that when they were getting near the place where her dad got killed, that she felt something within her. She ever tell you about that? She said, you know what? She asked my mother, this is where my dad got killed, did he? And your grandma and the Philemon looked at each other like, no, how did she know? He said, how did you know? She said, I just felt something. Something told me this is where it happened. She said, that's right. This is where we went over. The shell of the car was still down there. People had stripped it of the motor and all this left with the shell. All smashed.
Yeah.
I don't know what, something told me that that's where it happened. Some kind of instinct. God only knows. But, and then Lorraine still lives there. Her two brothers, Mary's two brothers and sister, they still live there. Remember how this man that bought your your mom's house, remember how he fixed it up? Man, it didn't look that old like the old house.
Oh, Savino fixed it.
So he did. He did the work.
Well, wasn't he the one that bought the home?
He bought it for a while.
And then his
Then
wife.
he sold it.
Yeah.
And then he sold it to this Gawacho. And he's the one that fixed it up. Remember they took me on a tour?
Yeah.
Beautiful inside and out. He spent a lot of money on that house. It did look like the little shack that Mary grew up in.
Yeah.
Every time we go to New Mexico, we'd go by the river. We'd buy stuff at lunch they have hamburger stands there and everything. We'd buy a couple of hamburgers and beer and Coke or whatever. Take it up the river. We'd buy the river. Mary used to like the river. The sound that the river made as it was driving by the gurgling sound. Peaceful life, real peaceful. We used to sit in the car there, eat our sandwiches and drink the beer.
She used to love going for rides.
Now,
You guys used to drive all over the place.
Yeah, we'd go to Knott's Berry Farms.
Universal Studios, I remember going there with you guys.
Oh yeah,
Driving out to Little Rock.
Little Rock for peaches and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
She used to know the owner of the place there, and the lady was real nice, and she'd give us a lug of peaches. Here, take this lug of peaches with you. And we bring home a lot of peaches. We haven't been back there in a while. Should take a drive down one of these days.
Maybe when we go to Upland for your eye surgery.
Yeah. Stop. I think I can still recognize the house. She used to be the lady. She was a Chicana, but she was married to a German guy. Otto. It was Otto. Something. I forgot his last name. A good guy.
She was a good woman. Very.
Oh boy. Time goes by.
Yeah, it does. Let's see, it probably seems like almost yesterday. And that's how when Benny and this guy get together, they talk about old times too, you know, when they were younger.
Yeah.
Oh. What about the chicken with the string, Grandpa?
Oh yeah.
Tell her about the chicken with the string.
Yeah. When we used to live in Gibson with my mother, we lived in upstairs. It was a two-story house, and she had the kitchen upstairs. Of course, a wood stove, you know, the wood and coal. And once in a while, she would send me to the store. And like I said, the store was close by. And she said, "Go get a steak, you know, a round steak. Make it with potatoes and whatever chili. She always make. My mom always used to make good chili piquin. And she'd make her own tortillas. At 5 o'clock in the morning, I could hear when I wake up, and I could hear cluck 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 cluck. She'd make great tortillas. By the time I got up, she had a pile about that high. And so we had a cat. We had a cat. It was a color of angel, a big cat. She sent me to the store. At that time, they used to wrap the meat in a paper and tie it with a string, you know, and then mark the price on it, $2 or whatever, and pay, get out of there, take the meat home. So I took the meat home. My mom opened the package. and She, she threw the string away. The string was about this long. We wrapped it around the meat. She threw it on the floor. Took out the meat. She started cutting it. And the cat smelled it. Of course, he smelled the meat. Meow, meow. He started howling, you know. And my mom said, "Get away from here." Shoot him away. He kept meow, meow. So, so she gave him a piece of fat. First she trimmed the meat. She got a strip of meat all about like that off the meat. And she was going to give it to the cat. And I told her, "Don't give it to me, I'll give it to him." I got the crazy idea of tying the meat with a string and then giving it and dangling it in front of him.
Teasing the cat.
And he kept meow, meow, trying to grab it. And he got tired of playing with him. So I threw it on the floor. And he grabbed it, rubber, started chewing it. And I realized that he was following the string with a meat attached to it. I said, "Oh my God," I got excited. So I got the string and pulled it out. boom, pull it out of his stomach. Sort of like that.
He ate the yeah.
After he had swallowed it, I pulled it out again. But he kept licking his stuff like, where'd it go? Oh, where'd it go? I said, oh man, I better not do that. So I got the string, opened the window, and threw it down on the ground, down below. Guess what? The neighbor had chickens and roosters. The big old rooster came up. Bang, 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 bang. He got a piece of meat and he started chewing it. And he swallowed it with the string, about this much of the string hanging out of his beak. I thought, oh no. When the neighbor finds out, he's going to come over here and raise hell. Nobody said anything about it. Evidently, they didn't notice it. So I waited a day or two, and guess what? That piece of meat had gone through the rooster's system, his stomach, and when he went to make poo-poo, he was hanging out of his butt, and he was dragging it along with a string attached to it. He was dragging that piece of meat, and the chickens were pecking, and it would hurt him. Every time they peck him, he would jump, ow. Finally, I think they finally got wise to it. They saw the string hanging out of his butt with a piece of meat in it. But they never said anything to me. Pretty soon the rooster disappeared. I think they,
Yeah.
I think they ended up in the soup bowl, the soup pot. Oh, it's quite a thing.
You want something to drink?
I think I have some water. What time is it?
12:30.
12:30. 30.
Almost lunchtime. What do you feel like eating for lunch?
I don't know. I don't know what we got now. We still have meatballs.
Yeah, we have a bun of still.
Oh yeah, wow. Can have that. What happened?
Nothing. I'm just looking.
I think Priscilla and Christine pulled out some oxtails out of her.
Yeah.
What a journey on.
Yeah. Long journey of life. So do you remember when all the kids were born, Grandpa?
Oh yeah. Lana was born in Gallup. So was Betty. Evelyn was born in Pecos. Ernie was born in Santa Fe. And Christine was born here in Victorville. And of course Priscilla at 9.
There you go. Thank you.
Ah.
I wish you could still have your navy blues and all your stuff that you've had when growing up.
I don't know what happened to them. You know,
You just kind of get lost in the years, huh?
65 years ago.
Yeah.
No trace of it now. Oh, yeah, I did tell you this. When I was working, like I tell you, we ended up in Daggett,
Mm-hmm.
working on the railroad. And we used to start at work at 7 o'clock in the morning. And there was a bunch of us guys working there. And there was a couple of guys that used to stay in Holbrook, which is close by there, by Daggett.
Right.
And they used to ride to work from Holbrook to be on the job at 7 o'clock in the morning. And one morning we were starting to work, and he had snow about this high, and we were working on the railroad, and these guys were late. They were late already. They got there about 7:30,
Yeah.
and he was in a hurry. So this guy got off the car. He got off the car on the passenger side, and he didn't look both ways. He just darted across the road, on Highway 66. Darted across the road, and the car came and hit him. Oh man, he tossed him up from here to that chair, over the windshield and over the top,
Yeah.
to the trunk, and he pow, he landed on the ground and slid on the ground on his face for about 2 feet. He just lay there. And we were all shocked. We all saw it, you know, all of us. We saw it. Oh man. So the car stopped, and he was a big brown beard, and he was a doctor. And he stopped. And of course he stopped to check the guy. And the guy didn't move. I remember his name was Jesus Riad. He was from Grants, New Mexico. Nice kid. He was a real nice guy.
Killed him?
And so he told one of the workers to go help the doctor. Put him in the car in the back seat. And the doctor put a blanket in the back seat and laid him out and took him to the hospital in Winslow. He died before he got to the hospital. It was weird to think something like that.
Yeah. That's just seeing something like that is a.
Yeah, and to know that guy and everything, he's a real nice guy. He's a Chicano, but he was very complexioned. Real friendly guy. That's Rian was his name. I'll never forget that. Seeing somebody killed before your eyes. Shortly after that, I remember there was 1940, working on the railroad. That's when I quit the railroad and went to start working the coal mine.
In the coal mines, you get what, black lung? Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Remember?
I only worked there about 3 years,
Yeah.
but I got drafted in the Navy. Oh yeah, when I was aboard ship in New York, I got a very, very severe earache. Oh man, I couldn't stand or I couldn't sleep or anything. So the guys told me, you better go to the hospital. They had a hospital ship close by. And so I went to the pilot sick bay. So I went to see the doctor, and he let me in. And he said, "Oh, let me check your ears." He checked the ears with an instrument or whatever. He said, "What did you used to do before you came in the Navy?" I said, "I worked in the coal mines." Oh, he said, "I bet you got a lot of coal dust in your ears. That's your problem. I'm going to clean them out for you." So he did. He got a syringe.
Yeah.
With a syringe that filled it full of water. I guess it was water, maybe it was some kind of solution. And he put like an X-ray. He tilted my head over. He stuck the, he get here, I could hear the water squishing in my ear. And then he said, "Okay, bend over to his left." I bent over like this to let the water drain out. And when it drained out, it drained into this, looked like an ashtray. And it came up black, gooey.
Ugh.
It was, you see here? That's all coal dust. So it came out a year. I'm going to give it one more rinse. We did it again. Put that, drain it out again. I could hear squishing out. It didn't come out as dirty anymore, just a few specks. He said, now your ear is clean. So he cleaned the other side too. But man, I felt after that, man, I felt like I could hear a pin drop from here to there. I felt real good and light. I said, boy, what a difference. Sure feel good. Oh, you had all that stuff, all that coal in your ears. So I'm glad when he checked my teeth, he said, boy, you got good teeth. There's one little speck of a cavity in there. I'm going to plug that up for you. Otherwise, you have perfect teeth. And my eyesight was pretty good too, 2020.
Yeah. Still pretty good.
Still good, huh? I still have all my most of my original teeth.
Yeah. How many presidents have you lived through?
Oh man, there was Franklin D. Roosevelt. You know that he's the one that started Social Security.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah, 1934, I think. He's the one that started Social Security. And then there was, oh no, first there was Hoover. That's during that President Hoover. But nobody liked it because he wasn't doing much for the country. Until Roosevelt came in, he started working, putting jobs for men like WPA, NYA. WPA means how do you work? What? Workers Progress Administration, NYA, National Youth Administration, CCC. I don't know if you ever heard of the CC camps. They were like army camps, only they were civilian camps. Civilian, civilian camps. And then he started uh, uh, Social Security, and everybody was supposed to get Social Security. It didn't interest me, when you're young. What's Social Security going to do for me?
Yeah.
But here I am on Social Security.
Yeah.
So that's why everybody loved President Roosevelt.
Let's get the heck out of me.
So, he started that, and then came, of course, after he died, then Truman was up. Harry Truman. Who was after that? Truman.
Eisenhower?
Eisenhower, I think, yeah.
When did he? Because you saw him as general.
Yeah. I think in 52 or something like that, he was a president.
Yeah.
And then, who came next? Ford? No. Then John F. Kennedy, I think. And then Ford. And then Johnson. Johnson was on during the Vietnam War. And he quit. He didn't want to be president anymore. Who was that after the? Oh yeah. I forgot.
Nixon?
Huh?
Nixon? When did Nixon become?
Nixon, I think, yeah. So I've seen that many presidents. Then, of course, Kennedy, and now,
Yeah, it was Kennedy, and then I remember Reagan,
Ronald Reagan, yeah,
Bush.
and then Bush, and then what was that? Ford, Carter, Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
A lot of presents are actually good for you.
She's taking a shower.
Oh,
She's ready, and then a bundle, I guess, will get. It's about 1 o'clock. Are you ready to eat now? Or are you kind of hungry? Or,
really for good.
we'll make something.
Another
Or
hour.
grab
Hey.
something.
It's
Okay.
gonna be one. I don't know if you guys were hungry. I'm not.
Yeah. We're warming it up now, so maybe by the time it warms up, 2 o'clock maybe, we'll be
I'll be
a little
hungry.
bit hungry. Oh, blood pressure?
Oh yeah. I think she left it in my room, my bedroom.
Charlotte? Oh, yeah, I was watching her yesterday.
Accross is the same thing like you do. Like yours. Look at yours coming out.
He's got long toes. Yeah, but these are just, I'm going to change it to regular clothes. I just need and then I want to check your sugar.
Okay. Right about there.
Good?
Good. Here's some good numbers now.
Yeah. It's looking good. Maybe that one at time.
$138.
Over 88.
Then high.
Okay, relax. Try one more time. Maybe on the sandwich.
Have you torta? Think I made you want some? Ham turkey?
126 over 85.
Which are we going to believe?
Yeah, it went high, and then now it's low.
Yeah, you got to wait a few minutes to take a second reading. We'll wait a few minutes. Just take your blood sugar and then I'll come and get us done.
Hold on. You stay there. Don't run off.
Oh,
You didn't leave it on.
I promise.
Yeah. Want to take it off?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll take my blood sugar.
Oh, she wants to take my blood sugar.
Oh, okay.
I'll take yours too then.
Oh, she wants to take
Oh,
yours.
okay. That's about
Here.
it.
Want to come in there?
Yeah. Is the video still going?
Oh, yeah. It's right there.
Well, then I'm not sure you can do how to take this.
Okay.
She moves. We can record your mic right now.
I don't have stories.
Tell us a story about your life.
I don't have a life. I'm only 22 years old.
Well, tell us about your parents, your upbringing.
No.
When I was 2 years old,
I don't remember my childhood. I just remember moving a lot.
What did that lady say?
But she doesn't have the 40 gauge, she sells the 240. Yeah, and that, she was telling me about the kind of diet and all that, just how once you're done with your first cycle of 40 day and you do then gradually you start introducing the diet to carbs, just start eating right.
The entire time?
No, just thinking.
Thinking and guessing?
Maybe this thing, yeah. Well, I think we can do like some good, some bad.
I don't have a lot. I'm
Oh, wow.
still
How old are you now?
young. 23.
I was 23 when I got married.
It's still kind of in the range.
He was 18.
23.
Shoot.
So
you're older than her?
No, it's
I was
still,
about 5
it's
years
not,
older
but
than
it's
him.
not in the danger zone.
5 or 6.
you're almost double what
I'm 12 years younger than Alex.
Yeah.
He's 35.
But you worried about you.
Yeah.
That's a lot of years. Yeah, 23, have a car, have a house, have a business.
Good.
Now it's just marriage and kids.
That's good. You're doing good.
Okay, let's see here.
You're going to pump me.
Oh, I did. Do you want me to shut the air off?
Oh.
Yeah, you're drawing blood. Because your fingers are cold. $94.
Hey, not bad, huh?
I'm 84.
84? That's not bad. Mary's used to go up by 3. I thought we went up to 6, I think.
No way.
Mine was 133.
Oh boy, that's
Right
pretty
now?
high.
Yeah.
That high?
Yeah.
Well, it's borderline
What'd you eat?
cereal.
Yeah, a lot of sugar.
I like sugar.
Maybe you had beer from last night.
I had beer.
What did you drink on?
Yeah, one beer.
I
You
had
had
one.
like
I had
8
one
beers.
bottle of beer.
Who had 8 beers?
You did?
I only had 4.
4 after another?
No, because I paid for them. I know how much I had.
Yeah, did you pay $4 a beer?
No? No, yeah, it was $4.
It was, but the menu said that there were $3.50. I didn't tip the guy.
I didn't think
Boy, that's a lot of money for a bottle of beer.
Yeah, you could go buy a 6-pack.
Jeez. Too much.
It's yeah. Let's prick, Myra.
Why?
See what your blood sugar is. Let me take your blood pressure too.
I had coffee.
So did I.
So did I. Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how to do it now. Poke a finger.
Okay. Here's what that.
I really.
I'm Dr. Nielsen. I'll be observing your blood pressure and blood sugar today. Please relax. Don't hold your breath. Breathe normal.
How do you know I hold my breath?
You're not supposed to talk.
105 or 82.
That's good.
Okay, and then just
Good.
do it just
Do it again because I was laughing. Maybe it'll be better.
Okay, that one or okay, that one. And then just just hold it like this. And then grab the first drop and then just put on the edge there.
Have to do it.
So then push back. Like this.
That's a good scene, huh?
Yeah, it's a nice, peaceful scene.
116 over 77.
It's good.
You give me yours with blood? Do that?
93. I was lower than you.
Sugar? Did you put sugar in my coffee?
I have my own too. So,
No, you can put sugar in yours.
you said it?
No, your first tea, not your first coffee.
No, the second
Not bad.
one. My mom was 133.
Sugar? Do you have a measurement, like you measure yourself, but not like a tape measure, but just like a measuring for clothes?
I'm sure there's one here.
What? Measuring tape?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have one? I want to measure my waist.
Oh,
Like the one like they have when they make you a
yeah, I
suit.
know.
Do you have one?
Yes. It's in the garage. Oh, that's great. $139 or 92. No,
What?
139 over 32.
92.
92. 131 over 92.
Okay.
What?
Text her now.
I think I took turn on.
You have water still?
Yeah.
What was the blood pressure there?
139 over 92. And what's the heartbeat?
80.
80.
I'm not a dead count.
Anything, get away.
Uh, you know,
Huh?
What was it?
185. Okay.
I was going to tell you about the measuring tapes in the garage. When you get through them. What the-
Am I? The 147 over 99. Two cups of coffee. Is it a tape, like
Yeah,
the square, or is it like a rope, like the thing?
yeah, made out of cloth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But in the
it's in a round thing that you pick it up.
yeah.
It's in one of those uh, baskets that I have above the garage.
Mm-hmm.
You see one of the, it should be up there somewhere. One of those two.
Okay. How much? 125 over 94. 125 over 94, Mom. How's that? 125 over 94. Me?
Oh, yeah.
The lower numbers be the high.
What's the lower number?
94.
Yeah, the lower number's high.
Well, I have my heart murmur too, so I get that extra beat. Or I get 3 beats. It goes. There it is. Right?
Yeah.
I have a heart murmur. I do.
Not the hard number.
That's just how much pressure is pushed through, correct?
You're
Yeah.
higher.
That's how much pressure your system's going through. And the top numbers are one that when it pumps the blood, the effort it makes to pump the blood. Do you know that your house is in two sections, right and left? My doctor told me my left section is weaker than my right section. Actually, it's divided in two.
Yeah, you have your left aorta and your right aorta.
Mhm.
And then the flaps that are in
Yeah,
the middle. My heart, instead of the normal heartbeat, it was going, goes, boom, boom. You know, it goes, boom, boom.
yeah, mine does too.
Mine goes the, boom, boom, boom. Has an extra heart murmur.
You're wrong with it?
I think so.
Is it hereditary?
That's what they call I have what they call Irregular heartbeat.
That's what I got. Yes.
Is that when you stop,
Huh?
start beating at night?
Yeah, that's what he just said.
Is that you, maybe that one when you said that you stop breathing or your heart starts pumping at night? Is that your mom or you?
Oh no, mine kind of flutters. I get the fluttery.
But I think your mom said that. I think her when she falls asleep that
She stopped. She had like sleep apnea or something like that, right?
she doesn't. Yeah. I remember.
I snore and then there's times when I go like I'll be sleeping and then I'll just wake up and be like she's on top. This thing's old.
You find it? There you go.
I don't know how to read this one. It goes 1 to 12. It doesn't go regular.
I think there's a
Just do the extreme trick. Around your belly button? Is that where the wrist goes? 41?
Huh?
I don't know.
No, I can't do that.
I'm 41 inches in my waist.
No. Around?
No.
It can't be that. Even I'm not that big. I'm 34. Waist.
Yeah, but look how much weight you lost.
Yeah, well, I lost about 60 pounds.
That's a long one.
52.
49.
49.
Well, no, that's what, but that's not,
I'm 41 and you're 49.
I don't know, I think we're doing it wrong.
Where's the...
Right here.
You want to put your feet up, Grandpa?
Yeah. Roll that thing over here.
That's it.
Do you use the steel tape?
Yeah. I don't know if we're doing it right.
And look, see where my belt is?
Yeah.
It's not there. Okay.
The last hole. Yeah. Yeah, that's the last hole in there.
Yeah. The last hole. I measured from. It would be from here, right?
From here.
No, from here.
Okay.
From here to the last hole. You should read about 34.
Okay. From the tip of that to the first hole is 36. But from the strap from the leather to there is 34.
Yeah. Because I'm wearing 34 pants. 34 size pants. I used to wear 38. So I lost weight. I lost 4 inches.
It says 47 and a half from here, from the belly. Now when I go from where I wear my pants, see there?
You're 44 by 40.
44. We're fat. I'm fat.
You work fat?
I'm fat. I was going off the board. I don't think that's right.
We get it compass belt.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
So that's here, but I do it for
4, 5, 6, 7.
I'm 37.
I used to be 32.
You're 37.
37 here.
Yeah, that's what yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
37 here, but then up here in the belly,
Oh.
it will be loose.
Oh.